This is Dolynny TV as we await news on what's going to happen with this Edmonton Oilers roster. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's best time to discuss who had the best performance for our Edmonton Oilers this preseason that's now come and gone as we march towards October 2nd. Whew. You know what? There's about 3 inches of snow overnight down here in southern Alberta where I am. So, now it's feeling like hockey season. I got out there, shoveled this morning, went two houses this way, 2 houses that way. And yeah, it definitely feels like we're about to, drop the puck on the 2019-2020 NHL season. And with that, as I said, let's get to looking at who had the 3 best performances for the Edmonton Oilers in this preseason, because there were a lot of good performances, there were a lot of surprising performances, quite a few maybe letdown performances, honestly, if you would, because there's guys that we thought would make this team. Caleb Jones obviously being one of them that didn't end up making this team. Another, oh man, who could you really? Cooper Marody maybe didn't perform as great as he possibly could have. Kyler Yamamoto a letdown as well, just not being able to be medically cleared to practice until all of a sudden he gets down to their Bakersfield and goes out and scores 2 goals and an assist in an 8-3 rout of the Stockton Heat, right? But that's aside. Those are the letdowns. What we've got in terms of actual guys performing are 3 names that were on the list. I mean, one really not expected to do much, one that hasn't had NHL experience in 2 years, and the other that, well, actually 2 that don't have NHL experience in 2 years, and one that won a Calder Cup this past season. Okay, I just gave it away. Anyway, I think number 1, what we got to get to is, obviously, guys, you're freaking out in the comments section almost every day. There's about 4 or 5 comments, even on a video that doesn't even mention his name about him. And that is the pride of Saskatchewan right now, Ethan Bear, who, guys, you know what? Day 1 of camp when he came in physically fit, that was a very good sign. I think everybody, by all accounts, was very impressed with that. And by all means, he should have, right? He had a fantastic shutdown year in Bakersfield and then comes to camp ready to earn a job. And then, guys, it just like this the entire way through camp, straight up, almost a 90-degree straight up angle for Ethan Bear as camp progressed. And even last night against the Calgary Flames, where maybe he wasn't the most impressive by any means, he was still walking the blue line. He was still out there making plays, making passes beyond what a guy with 11 or 12, 13, 18, how many games of experience he has in the NHL, I know it's below 20, makes. And sure, it's the preseason, but let's be honest, it was our B squad versus the A squad of the Calgary Flames last night, and Ethan Bear was still out there making those plays. So that was huge to see, to cap off what should be a make of the team for Ethan Bear. He should be an Edmonton Oiler October 2nd versus the Vancouver Canucks. And I think you and I both can agree that no matter what you have to say about Ethan Bear this preseason, there is no doubting that he should be there October 2nd. So the single most impressive preseason from any Edmonton Oiler on the defensive side of the game, Ethan Bear 100%. And I mean defense is in the 7 guys, 8 guys, 9 guys, 10 guys that go to war night in, night out on the back end kind of deal. Offensively, this is where it gets really fun offensively, because there's a guy who sat out the game against the Calgary Flames last night, and that should bode well for him unless something's happened. I don't know. I haven't heard from the Bakersfield guys today saying that he's back there with them. So that goes to say it's September 29th. We've got September 30th and October 1st left to go to make this roster down to 23, and Patrick Russell is still here. Guys, Patrick Russell, by no means did he have an offensive light show this preseason, but he's that ideal 13th, 14th forward, let me tell you. Goes to work night in, night out, gets into the greasy areas, gets dirty, gets to work, and does the job right. And you know what? In the bottom 6, you're not always going to be that guy scoring the big goal totals, or getting the assists all the time or doing anything really of substance on the score sheet. But as long as you're doing things right, when you're stepping in as the 13th, 14th forward, same thing I argue with Colby Cave, is the simple fact that, you know what, guys appreciate that effort, and that changes the dynamic of a lineup tenfold when you can have a guy that comes in off the press box, essentially, goes in there and works his tail off to try and make the team better that given night, because that's his job. So that's huge. That's huge. And you know what? We saw lots of that out of Patrick Russell in the preseason games he played. He was fantastic, and as I said, went to the greasier areas, worked hard, did things right, and honestly, if you're going to have a Dave Tippett style 14th, 13th forward, that is who you're looking for in Patrick Russell. So to fill that role, Patrick Russell might not have had, like I said, an offensive light show or anything really standout impressive to his game, but for the role he was auditioning for the job he was trying to take, he came in, worked his tail off, and definitely did the best he could to secure said job and role. So for Patrick Russell, that's another guy who had an absolutely impressive camp, and I think, honestly, for the games he played, he had the most impressive game off the score sheet, if he was held off the score sheet those nights, out of anyone playing those games in the limited role he played. I don't know how to make it more clear. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's tough to kind of say it right when it comes to Patrick Russell, but you get where I'm going, guys. If you watch the games Patrick Russell played, he was out there. When he was on the ice, you noticed him. And you didn't notice him for mistakes. You noticed him because he was working hard. I guess that's the best way to cap it. And then, number 3. Guys, I ignored him. I already gave you the teaser with the Calder Cup champion words. Well, guess what? Tomas Jurco, I think, is the guy. Obviously, if I've done a video about him on the top line, yeah, I think he impressed in camp. I think Tomas Jurco really impressed in camp. Now, yes, there is the risk it's the Ty Ratty preseason of last year. But, guys, you know what? Tomas Jurco coming out of the AHL, coming to work as much as he has, and you know what? He brings a unique skill set. He can kind of almost do it all. He's now got that two-way game to his dimension. It's immense to see what Tomas Jurco brought in the preseason for the Oilers. It's just, did he get the best showing? And I mean, now you can kind of say, I would like to see him with McDavid and Draisaitl, or I would like to see him with McDavid and Kazian, and you can throw out whoever you would like to see him with. But the simple fact is, no matter who he played with, Cooper Marody, as for instance that I mentioned, he scored points. He scored points. He scored points. He went out there and absolutely lit it up most times when he did it. And yes, okay, we can sit here and worry about the Ty Ratty preseason, but you know what? Whoever scores the most points in the preseason for your Oilers are going to be the most impressive player. That's just one of them, right? That's how it goes. Kyler Yamamoto before Ratty last year, and now Mr. Tomas Jurco. So far, it hasn't panned out. Problem is, Tomas Jurco, about a little bit more NHL experience than Ty Ratty had before he showed up with the Oilers. So, we're hoping, we're rolling that maybe this one's going to pan out for us and actually kind of lay a golden egg in our hands, and let's go get ourselves a little bit of a competitive team based on a guy who technically really isn't on the depth chart as much as you might think he is at the beginning of camp. Now is in a very tough position coming out of camp. Is he on the fourth line? Is he on the third line? Is he on the second line? Is he on the first line? Is he the 13th, 14th forward? Or what the heck happens to Tomas Jurco? I don't think you put him on waivers. I don't think you send him down. I don't think you do anything to Tomas Jurco other than damn well play him in the NHL October 2nd versus the Vancouver Canucks. So guys, those are the 3 guys I think safe picks to say are the most impressive out of camp, and that's good. You know what? For once, we're not talking about the regulars out there doing everything. It was guys that weren't regulars last year going out there and doing the job for us in the preseason. And it's not that we have one Ty Ratty preseason. We have 3 very good preseasons out of 3 very different players. So that's my wrap on that, guys. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Let me know in the comments section down below what your thoughts on who had the best preseason all around. If I hear Nurse or Larson, I'm probably going to just like delete your comment and shadow ban you for the rest of YouTube's eternity, because my goodness. But anyway, jokes aside, guys, get in the comment section down below as you're going here down that way. Hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. I can barely breathe. I don't know, my nose is a little stuffed up this morning. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I'm going to quit stalling. I am up on out of here.